Hi guys, hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Punya here and I am welcoming you to my YouTube channel, that is PM Biology. So what's mentioned on the board? Let's see. It's same topic, that sexual reproduction in flowering plants, but this is the part 5. We have completed part 4. Last class we have talked about the structure of pistil and we ended up with the anatropous ovule. For the last video you can just click on the iCard which is given on the right hand side of the YouTube channel. So let's go ahead. So see, we had ended up with this structure, that is an anatropous ovule, which most of the angiosperms are having it. So common for angiosperms. Okay, we would be starting with this. So this red colored layer is very soft tissue, that is nucellus, and nucellus is protecting the inner mass. We can say this portion. What is it? It's the embryo sac, that is developing embryo sac, which we are going to get it. You can see a very circular ring in this whole structure. Okay, what is that? It is towards the micropylar end. M means micropylar end, this C means chalazal end. M for micropylar end. So toward the micropylar end, a large cell has been coming, approaching towards the micropylar end. This cell has already attained its maturity and now it's called MMC. What is MMC? It's megaspore mother cell. Okay, so we are going to talk about the process that is called megasporogenesis today in this part. So today's topic would be our megasporogenesis. Let's talk about the word first. It's mega. Mega means very large. Sporo in this is related to this word, that is megaspore, and genesis means formation of a megaspore. Here we are talking about this megaspore in context to the pistil. That means the male reproductive unit is giving rise to your megaspore. Usually in the microsporogenesis process, the name is micro because pollen grains are small in comparison to your female gamete as compared in flowering plants. So what two features we learn today? It's megasporogenesis and microsporogenesis. In megasporogenesis, the gametophyte, which would be getting as the end product, it would be large in comparison to your male gametophyte, that is pollen grain. So let's go ahead, let's define the topic first. What is it? It's megasporogenesis. Formation of megaspore from megaspore mother cell by meiosis is called megasporogenesis. So we had ended up with this, the green colored mass. What is it? It's megaspore mother cell. The dot one represents the nuclei present in it, and the top portion of it will be representing your micropylar end, and the bottom portion would be your chalazal end. So whichever structure we are taking, it would be giving two ends. One is your micropylar end and the other is chalazal end. Like we went for too many structures for this microsporogenesis when we went for microspore mother cell, but here it's only one structure and the arrangement is also in a linear fashion. See, nuclei is here and micropylar and the chalazal are in a linear sequence. There is no change in it. So let's go for it. So first, this megaspore mother cell will undergo first meiotic division, and it will give rise to 4 haploid cells. Okay, it will be giving rise to 4 haploid cells, and we know that where this is there, the outer side where what nucellus were present. So the nucellus would be intact like this. So there would be no change in the nucellus. Mass of cells, this red color mass of cells are what? These are your nucellus. Why they are required? They are required for protection of the inner mass, as well as they will be providing nutrient to the developing gametophyte. So this megaspore mother cell undergo first meiotic division and it gave rise to 4 haploid cells. That means the megaspore mother cell which we derived from ovule is a diploid structure. What is it? It is a diploid structure, and when it is undergoing division, it is giving rise to 4 haploid products. So what is this? This is megaspore tetrad. How tetrad? Because of meiotic division. Meiotic division consists of meiosis 1 and meiosis 2 ending up with 4 cells. Okay? Don't get confused how we got 4 cells. It's because of meiotic division consists of 2 divisions again, meiosis 1 and meiosis 2 ending up with 4 cells. Since this is a reductional division, we are getting haploid number of chromosomes in each part of it. This one cell, this one cell, this one cell and this one cell. All these are daughter cells and each having n number of chromosomes. That means here diploidy means 2n number of chromosomes. Okay. So now we will be talking about specifically this structure. So this we have got megaspore tetrad. That means 4 different daughter cells we have got with n number of chromosomes, or ploidy is haploid. Now what we need to know is this out of these 4 cells, only one would be functional and the other 3 would be degenerating. So let's see, as we have mentioned in this diagram, this portion would be your micropylar end and this end would be your chalazal end. So the most active cell, daughter cell, would be closer to the micropylar end. The 3 which are heading towards the chalazal end would be non-functional and they will degenerate. So we will be getting only one functional megaspore and these three cells would degenerate. Okay, they would be degenerating. So now we have got only one functional megaspore, which would be functional. So see, we have ended up with one functional megaspore. Now we know that this functional megaspore is haploid in number. That means its ploidy is n. So when we know that this is accounting for a somatic cell, that means it would be now undergoing your mitotic divisions to increase its cell number. So now the first mitotic division will be taking place. First mitotic division will take place. It's an equational division since cell is 1, so we will be ending up with 2 cells. Second mitotic division will be taking place, and we will be ending up with how many cells? If one is giving 2 cells, then 2 would be giving 4 cells. Okay, so how this would be constant, so how we will be keeping this? We can keep this in this type of a cell, like a euglena, like a slipper set. So this particular functional megaspore undergoes 3 mitotic divisions. What it would be giving? It would be undergoing 3 mitotic divisions. So second mitotic division is over now. After second mitotic division, we are getting 4 cells. Now we are heading towards the last mitotic division. This is the third mitotic division, and we are ending up with how many cells? We are ending up with double of 4. What is it? 8. So we are ending up with 8 cells. Now this is a embryo sac, which is the end product of the process called megasporogenesis. Let me brief once again. We have started with the megaspore mother cell. Since it is a germinal cell, we went for meiosis. Okay, so we started up with a green part of it. So this was your MMC. MMC underwent first meiotic division, giving rise to 4 cells. Out of these 4 cells, the one which were closer to the micropylar one, that was this, became functional, and the other 3 degenerated. So now we have accounted for this. Now this is a somatic cell, because after division, now it has, the number of chromosomes has been reduced and it is acting as a somatic cell. Now this somatic cell will be undergoing 3 mitotic divisions to give rise to a unorganized embryo sac structure. Unorganized, because we are going to talk about the organized embryo sac after this. So first mitotic division will give rise to 2 daughter cells, second mitotic 4 daughter cells, third mitotic division is giving rise to 8 daughter cells. So now we have ended up with an unorganized embryo sac. Embryo sac is the final product of the megasporogenesis process. This is what? This is female gametophyte. Okay. So now we will be talking about the arrangement of these 8 nucleated cells into female gametophyte and how is the arrangement of this particular 8 cells. Let's see. So we are heading towards the last part of this topic, that is the pistil, megasporogenesis and female gametophyte. What is it? It's embryo sac. So for this particular diagram we are just going to do little rearrangements. This cell has, now we have got all these daughter cells. Now no more addition would be there, but little rearrangement would be there. We have known that there are 3 phases in the growth phase. One is multiplication and division we can say, and finally matured cells we are getting. So we have ended up with this multiplied, divided, unorganized, unmatured embryo sac. Now after rearrangement we will be getting this matured cells. So let's see how the arrangement would be. So now we have rearranged the cells. There were 8 cells. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cells were there. We have rearranged the 8 cells. How will number it? This is the chalazal end. So this was the chalazal end. So this is C. This is M. So we'll number the cells. 8, 7, 6. So this is 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So rearrangement of the cells has been done like this. So this was the chalazal end. So chalazal end, I have mentioned it here. And this is your micropylar end. It's very easy to know which one is micropylar end and which one is chalazal end. Micropylar end will be having this structures, zigzag-like structures which is there. Chalazal end would be simple like this with 3 cells. Okay, these 3 cells are called your antipodal cells. 3 cells. So 3 antipodal cells are there. Out of the 8 we have arranged 3. Next, at the center of it, 3 cells are here, 3 cells are here, and the center 2 cells are there. These 2 cells account for central cell bearing polar nuclei. These 2. The dotted one is your central cell and these 2 would be accounting for your polar nuclei. Nuclei means plural. So I have mentioned polar nuclei. The central cell is also called polar cell. We can say polar or central cell. So 3 plus 2, 5 cells have been arranged. Now towards the micropylar end there are left 3 cells. So this and this, the larger cells are called synergid cells. The small one is called egg cell These are filiform apparatus. Okay, and this all the things would be accounting for egg apparatus. So these 8 cells have been arranged in this manner, 3 towards the chalazel and 3 towards the micropilar and 2 at the center. This arrangement is called matured embryo sac or female gametophyte. So the female gametophyte structure or matured embryo sac structure, if it is asked, you have to draw this particular structure. This central cell is very important, as well as this whole egg apparatus is important, because this particular star marked one and these two would be taking part in fertilization process. The star mark would be taking place, would be helping in fertilization process, which is the important concept in this sexual reproduction. So we have ended up with the pre-fertilization events with this. So we have started with the pre-fertilization events. So see, we have ended up the topic which we started, pre-fertilization event. So you can just refer to my last videos, part 1, sexual reproduction in flowering plants, part 1, for the pre-fertilization events, structure and function. So we have started, I am just briefing it for your help. Pre-fertilization event, we started with first stamen, microsporogenesis and pollen grains. So this was the complete development of male gametophyte. Then we started with pistil, megasporogenesis, as well as embryo sac. These three accounted for female gametophyte. So in short, what we talked about in this pre-fertilization event, just before fertilization, what are the actions or what are the conditions required? Like pollen grain is required, embryo sac is required. So we have covered these topics with all these headers. Okay, we can call these as headers. Okay, now we are ready for the next process, that is pollination to take place, and after pollination this male gametophyte will reach the female gametophyte and then fertilization will take part. So in the next part we are going to talk about pollination. Pollination is the link between the pre-fertilization events and fertilization, because without pollination, male gametophyte and female gametophyte cannot meet each other. Okay? Since our topic is sexual reproduction, by pollination only the male will be reaching to the female gametophyte. This process is called pollination, and after pollination the next step, that is fertilization, would be taking place. So let's wait for the next video. So let's wait for the next video. In that part, I would be talking about pollination, and pollination is a topic which we have already started today. I have gave a briefing about it, so just look forward. Please till then like, subscribe and share so that I can reach maximum people. Thank you for your cooperation.